Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. Today we're looking at Hardware Issue 2. This is from Milestone in DC, and we start the issue with the sinister Mr. Alva looking at video of Hardware, trying to figure out who he is, thinking to himself, this company, this city, this world, all of it belongs to me. They left out the bwahaha. So he's given up trying to figure out who Hardware is. Is he a Fed? Is he a mob hire or what? Nope, he's just resolved to ending Hardware and unmasking the lifeless body. So then we cut over to Hardware, who has fallen into a trap by an evil henchman hire called Reprisal. And of course he's a sinister, evil, blonde white guy who can multiply himself so all the blonde white guys look the same. Hardware is confused by how this guy could do this, but he saw it himself, so he's just gonna battle his way through. So he slaughters quite a few of these duplicates. While dodging bullets, he uses his plasma whip to pull himself up to a catwalk in an effort to escape because there's too many of them, and he kills some more of them and summons his Skylark vehicle and then quickly climbs up a ladder but gets shot in the side, and he has to shoot a whole bunch of them to get them off of him. And then he gets hooked into the Skylark, pulls himself up, and blows the place sky high. So he gets home instead of going back to his secret lab because he's kind of messed up and he doesn't really have a chance to get back there. So he just goes home, takes off his outfit, and crashes on the bed. Well, he doesn't show up for work, so one of his friends, a Professor Young from the Afro-American Studies building at Medina University, called to see if she knows where he is. Well, she goes to his house and uses her spare key to go in and finds him in his exoshell. He has to tell her what's going on. And it says here, it took me a couple of hours to explain it all, how Alva became wealthy on the fruits of my genius and how he used and enslaved me. Well, he didn't enslave you. You can quit. You just can't work in that field anymore because of some made-up nonsense contract that would never hold up in a real court. Well, being the voice of reason, she says to him, how many lives are you willing to destroy for this? What's it worth, you arrogant, selfish? And then she swears at him. And she even says, you've killed people, ended their lives without any visible remorse. And he says, visible or otherwise. Yeah, it's a little psychotic. He's killed a bunch of people, doesn't feel any remorse for it. Some of these people are probably just hired security, don't know that they're involved in a corrupt enterprise. So I think that's a good point to make, is that not everybody working for the bad guy knows that they're on the wrong team. So he doesn't try and convince them, he just murders a bunch of people. So he sort of seems to see the point. Says one final mission, no more endangering the innocents. So he puts an exoshell on, gets suited up, and says he's gonna go take care of Alva. And that's where the issue ends. Yeah, it's kind of hard not to see some of this as having a racial overtone these days, saying that he's just trying to, the words like enslaved and used, and then he's just killing everybody he kills is white so far in the first two issues. Yeah, it's kind of hard not to notice that and think that there might be a trend. But this was a much better written issue than the first issue, so I'm overall happy with it. It's another Dwayne McDuffie and Dennis Cohen's concoction, and it's a pretty good issue. It's definitely better than the first issue, and it's very action oriented. There's a lot going on. I thought it was a pretty good issue overall. I am worried that there are a lot of noticeable racial undertones to it that really didn't need to be there. More, rah-rah kill whitey kind of stuff that I don't particularly care for. But not a bad read overall. It is a product of its time, so there's a distinct 90s feel to it, but it's not a bad issue. Like I said with issue 1, if you see it in a 50-cent bin, this one's definitely worth picking up. It's a pretty self-contained story overall, and it's not too bad. I just hope that there's not a lot of racism in there, because that really would hurt the storyline more than anything. So yeah, not bad. Definitely better than the first issue. Hopefully the series continues to improve. It looks like they might actually have some character development here, so we'll see how it goes in issue 3 next time. But as always, thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next one.